Hey guys, it's me Sky again, and welcome to another video. And today we're going to do another technology review. What we're focusing on today is ZoomText Fusion. I'm sure most people have at least heard what ZoomText is, but for those of you who don't know, ZoomText was at least a screen magnification program where you can magnify your screen to enormous amounts. You can use this on the internet, you can magnify documents, you can change the color and stuff like that. So ZoomText Fusion, what we're particularly going over today is ZoomText Fusion 10.1, is where ZoomText has fused with Window Eyes so that the program now is not only a magnification program but also a screen reader. So the idea behind ZoomText Fusion is that for those who are slowly losing their vision, they are able to transition over from magnification software to screen reading software, and the transition should be very nice and subtle because you can slowly turn on your screen reading settings and slowly phase out the magnification settings. Or, if you're like me, you just use both settings, and whenever they're useful to you, sometimes the screen reader helps and sometimes you don't need it. So I'm going to go over everything that ZoomText Fusion has in it today, and I think you guys are probably going to think it's pretty cool because this is one of the top leading, at least magnification softwares for low vision users out there for using computers. And I think that this program, even though it is very new, the Fusion, I think it has a lot of really cool potential and it's very useful in terms of screen readers. So let's get into it. Okay, so first off, in this video you're going to see me switch between clips of actually using the software on my laptop and me talking about it. So you're hopefully going to be able to get a bit more of a hands-on approach of how this program works. So you need to know that ZoomText Fusion works as kind of a toolbar at the bottom of your screen. When you launch the program, you can set it to launch on startup of your computer so it launches automatically, or you can just click the ZoomText icon on your desktop, or you can go into your files and find it there. But once you launch the program, you're going to have this toolbar. You need to keep the toolbar open. If you shut the program, of course, ZoomText is going to stop working. So you always have to have this open. How it works is you're going to see at the very top of the toolbar, you're going to have different areas to focus on. So first of all, we're going to see the magnification area. Now, under the magnification settings, you have type, color, pointer, cursor, and focus. Now, each of these do a different thing for you. Before I say anything else, I'm going to tell you two really useful shortcut keys. If you hold down your left Alt key and then the plus key at the right of your keyboard together, you're going to be able to zoom in and increase that magnification. If you hold down the Alt key and the minus key together, you'll be able to zoom out and decrease the magnification. You can also, as you see, mess with the magnification in this actual magnification setting and make the screen bigger or smaller that way, but you're going to notice with this program there are a lot of shortcut keys. And the more you learn the shortcut keys, the more streamlined this program will become to you. So just a heads up, the power setting is for the magnification. Of course, the up arrow means that it's magnified more and the down arrow means it's magnified less. The type setting that you're seeing here is actually for the different types of screens. So if someone was using 2 or 3 different screens, ZoomText would need to know where to use its magnification on and where not to. So you can set which screens the magnification is working on. So it's pretty much for multi-monitors. The color is for your screen color, of course. So you're going to be able to change your contrast and colors with this. Me personally, I like a white on black, but you also have multiple colors, as you can see here, that you can test out and pick whichever works for you. Now, ZoomText Fusion, I should mention, works on everything to an extent, which means a lot of programs, they'll only work, say, when you're in Windows, but as soon as you go into a internet browser, the program will stop working. I am going to get into a little more what this program works with and what it doesn't work with. It works with almost everything. There's just a few things to be aware of, which I'll touch after I go over the different settings and everything in this program. Your pointer is your mouse. So this program has the ability to customize your mouse so that it can stand out for you, so that you can find it. A lot of us with low vision, of course, lose the mouse. It goes somewhere on the screen and we can't find it. So you can customize the outline of the mouse, the color of the mouse, the shape of the mouse. You can pretty much make it so that it's easy to find for you. I like to make it nice and big so that it stands out, and I also like to change a bit of the outline and stuff like that. But yeah, whatever works for you, you can change here. The cursor is actually what you use when you're typing with text. The cursor is, of course, when you're in a text field or a text window, and that little blinky thing, that's where you're typing, that's the cursor. And you can also change it to make it, again, more apparent to you so that you can see where you're typing. I like my cursor to stand out a lot, of course, because I like to know where I'm typing at. Technically, it's same as the pointer. The cursor can be changed and customized so that you can see it and find it much easier. Now, the focus is pretty cool. The focus is when you are highlighting something or when your program is reading it to you, or pretty much whatever you're looking at the moment, whether it be text or a link or a navigation field or a table, the focus is going to highlight that for you. So this is what you tell the program to do with the text or the item that you are currently using or looking at, so that it becomes, again, more apparent to you. This program is all about finding things, seeing where you're at, knowing where you're at, not getting lost. A lot of this is highlighting, making a border around where you're focused at, changing the colors maybe. Just again, it's for customization of where you are at on the screen. And of course, it is quite useful for not getting lost and seeing where the program is reading, especially for those of you who are using a screen reader and you need to know where you're at. So next, we're looking at the finders. The finders are really neat because they help you not get lost again. So if you're having trouble seeing what's on your screen or finding something, the finders are going to find it for you. You have one that can find things on your actual windows, so it not only is this for the desktop, but it is also for if you're looking for a certain document in Windows, you can use this finder. The web finder is if you're on a certain web page and you need to find something there, for instance, a link, you can look for that text that the link has and be able to find it, or you need to find a certain table. You get the gist. It finds stuff on your active web page. The text finder is pretty much if you're in any other open document and you need to find something there. For instance, if you have a Word document open, you need to find certain words in that document and you just can't locate them visually, use the finder and you will find them. Very, very useful. So that is nice for navigating different programs, and it's also nice that it has different finders for all these different applications and stuff, because a lot of programs just wouldn't have it or just wouldn't work with those programs, but ZoomText will work with all of them, so that is very nice. Next up is our reader. Our reader is where we start getting into a little more of the different screen reading opportunities that this program offers. To an extent, we can customize this reader so that for those of us with low vision that don't need a full screen reader, we can use some of the settings. The settings in the reader are speech, rate, typing, mouse, verbosity, app reader, doc reader, zones, and speak it. So the last ones I mentioned there are more screen reader related, but you'll see that in a second. Your speech is really who is talking at the moment. You really only have two options here, a male voice or a female voice. I do find that the actual voices in ZoomText Fusion are pretty nice compared to a lot of other screen readers I've seen out there. I wish there was a little bit more of a variety that you could choose from, but as long as these work and they sound good, then I'm happy. Your rate is how fast your speech is talking to you. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, have noticed that people who are veterans of using these programs have their computer talk extremely fast to them and you can read hundreds of words a minute. That's because their rate is super, super high and they've gotten really good at listening to it and understanding what it's saying. Rate is just technically how fast it's talking to you, and it's nice because as you get better at this, the faster the rate can go and the faster you'll be able to navigate things, read things, and get things finished and done with. So for school or work or something like that, keep turning this guy up as you get more used to the program. It's going to save you time. Typing is what you want it to read back to you when you're actually working on your keyboard. It can read back to you each key or maybe each word that you're typing. I usually personally don't like to have my typing echo back to me, but some people really do, especially if you can't see the keyboard and you want to know which keys you're pressing or make sure you're pressing the right keys. Typing is useful for that. So this just echoes what you're typing. The mouse setting on here is related to what your mouse is hovering over. For instance, if you don't know what something is and you want to figure it out, you can set it so that if your mouse hovers over it for so many seconds, say 4 seconds, then it'll read it to you, which is nice because sometimes you do know what you're looking at, especially for those of us who do have some vision, and we don't need it to read everything to us. We just need it to read 2 or 3 items that aren't visible for us because the text is too small or the contrast isn't visible or something like that. So you just set how long you want your mouse to hover over something before the program reads it back to you. I really like this because sometimes screen readers just go way too crazy reading everything to you at once, which isn't fun. So yes, hover is very, very useful for that. The next option is verbosity. Verbosity is how much you want your program to speak to you. Do you want it to say every single thing that's on the page? Do you want it to just say certain objects that are on the page? Do you want it to speak every single URL? Do you want it to only say a few specific things that you are unable to see visually? Verbosity helps you from going crazy again from your screen reader talking about every single little thing that it sees. Even people with no vision can go crazy with these screen readers reading every single teeny tiny piece of information. Whole URLs are way too long to read, guys. So your verbosity is where you adjust that. Now we're really into the interesting part of this section because we're onto the different readers. And this is definitely more of the full screen reader, and I find it very useful. Even though I am able to read my computer screen with the magnification settings, it saves a lot of eye strain and helps me a lot visually when I just have it read to me, especially if it's a very large document. That's going to be very, very hard on my eyes. So the readers are very useful. First off, we have the app reader. The app reader is going to read you everything that was on the window of your last active application. Usually you use this for things like Word documents and stuff like that. Your app reader is going to take that last active application, whatever it was, and read everything that was on there. The doc reader is very similar to the app reader, except it puts whatever was in your last active application or whatever you've selected into a very easy to see, easy to work with text field so that your text is big, your text is right in front of you, it lays it out nicely, and you are able to do nothing but just read that text. You don't have to navigate, you don't have to figure out where you are on your computer screen or what's happening. All it does is take the text, plop it down there, and let you read it. More accurately, really, it reads it out to you. Next is zones. Zones help you to create and edit and navigate reading zones. So you can go into applications and you can set things up so that they're more user-friendly to you. This is mainly if you're just using your screen reader and you need help navigating certain pages that are just not working with you. The zones are going to make things much more user-friendly, and you can go back to where you've made your zones and see what's happening there. And it's really just easy to navigate with zones because you're creating a path that you can follow again and know what was happening in your application or on your web page, things like that. And last but not least, we have Speak It. Speak It's really cool. If you are just done and you can't figure out what's going on, you don't know what is on your screen, you really need help figuring out what that text says, you just go to Speak It. It will technically take whatever was on your screen in your last active application, and whatever you hover over, it will say what it is. Speak It is really, really nice when you are lost and you don't know what that thing is. Say you're on a web page and there's something really small and you can't see it. You just click on Speak It and it doesn't change anything. It doesn't take you anywhere new. All it does is if you hover over whatever that was with your Speak It tool, it will read it to you. It'll read anything on your screen at the time. All right, now we're on to our next option at the top, and that would be the Fusion toolbar. Now, the Fusion toolbar gets into more of the specific just screen reader modes. So what you have is browsing mode, page navigation, tutor mode, learning center, and pronunciation. So first and foremost, browsing mode. Browsing mode is what you use when you are really using mostly the full screen reader and you are browsing, of course, the internet. Technically, it is describing to you or helping you customize all of your shortcut keys while you're browsing the internet to make things very streamlined for you while using a screen reader. So for instance, in browsing mode, you browse by using your 4 arrow keys, and each time you press the down arrow key, it's going to read you your next sentence, or you can have different combinations to make it read each word to you or each paragraph to you. So browsing mode just makes internet browsing useful and possible because of its screen reading capabilities when you're reading the internet, and it makes it a lot more organized, which is very, very nice. Page navigation is, again, ZoomText has a few things to help with this, but again, it is when you are completely lost on a web page, you're looking for certain elements in that web page, and you can't really find them very easily. Page navigation sorts those all into you. It gives you, say, your links and your tables and everything, and it sorts them out so that you are able to navigate those different elements on the page and find what you're looking for. Tutor mode is pretty self-explanatory. It's a number of videos that will explain to you how to use ZoomText, and as I'm sure you can tell by now, there's a lot to learn, so tutor mode is very useful if you just want to sit down and learn what you're doing. Learning centers like tutor mode, except it's more organized and there are videos and also text that you can explore, which should help you figure out how to use specific parts of the program. I just find it's a lot more easy to navigate, and you can just look up specifically what you want to learn. Pronunciation is, well, again, pretty self-explanatory. A lot of the times with screen readers, and because the English language is just weird like this, screen readers do the best that they can, but they don't always read things correctly, especially when we're talking about names or specific places. So what pronunciation is if it's driving you crazy that your screen reader is not saying something correctly, you can go and fix it so that it is saying it correctly and the words sound right. Alright, and last but not least at the top is tools. Under this section we have full/doc, recorder, BG reader, and image reader. Full/doc helps you to change what you want magnified. A lot of you, if you've used the magnification tool on Windows, you'll get what I mean, but it's technically saying, do you want to only magnify part of the screen and have the other part look normal? Or do you want the whole entire screen to be magnified? Like what part of the screen should be magnified and what part shouldn't? Recorder is what it says. It records and captures text. You can take text that you copied and you can record it here. So pretty much it's just a place to store text. BG reader reads your captured text, so if you need to copy something and then you want to read what you've copied, you can paste it here and get it to read it to you. And image reader is something interesting in of itself. ZoomText has a particular image reader in it, and it will be able to read you text in an image. You need a camera that comes with ZoomText to be able to use it, but it is really cool because, like in the eBot Pro, this would be able to take a snapshot of a document, and not only would it give you the words in very large, high contrast font, it would also be able to read them to you. That is all of our settings. That's technically all of ZoomText Fusion kind of squished into one really compact explanation there. But it is a very useful program. It is very nice for adapting that way. And now I guess I'll get into what I like and maybe what I don't so much like about it. As with any screen reader or any magnification software, there's always going to be little glitches and stuff with it. ZoomText Fusion is a new software. It's only been around for a year or two, and they're still working out bugs, they're still updating it, and things are still trying to get worked out. It's not perfect. It does have its little funny things that it does. Something I will warn you about is that it only really functions properly with one internet browser, which would be Internet Explorer. So if you're using Google Chrome or Firefox or Edge, it's not going to be completely compatible with them. The nice thing is that it does have a window that pops up and tells you when you try to open these internet browsers that it might not be able to run properly with them. Worst case scenario that I've found is that your internet browser just crashes. ZoomText Fusion usually doesn't, and then you can just open up Internet Explorer instead and go from there. A lot of other screen readers that I've worked with really have issues and really get glitchy when you do work with your internet browsers. So this one does actually work quite well with Internet Explorer, so I'll take it. I mean, when you consider that most of them won't even read anything on any browser, this is a lot better than that alternative. Another nice thing, kind of connecting with what I just said, is that it will work with most documents. I like to use the Windows 10 magnifier and narrator, which are built-in programs in Windows 10. However, these programs only work when you're in Windows, technically. If you're using something like OpenOffice and trying to work with those programs, it will not track for you. Tracking is where, when you're typing and you're zoomed in, your zoomed in magnification is following your cursor as you type. A lot of those magnification programs will not follow your zoomed in cursor and will not follow your text as you're typing, which drives people off the wall. Tracking is very, very important because you need to see where you are and what you're doing. ZoomText does have quite a decent tracker and works very, very well with most programs that I've worked with. I love the fact that it's so customizable that I can have settings on that work for me and other settings off that don't. I don't always need the full screen reader. I don't always need all the magnification settings. I don't always need it to say things to me, but at certain times I like it to say things to me. So I can really customize it and get in there and figure out what I need. They've also done a really, really good job of thinking up ways to get past things that frustrate us as low vision users with the tools that they've given us. For instance, Doc Reader. It's so nice. I love that I can take text that at one point is very, very small or very hard to read and just put it in a easy, streamlined, easy to read, easy to navigate document. Speak It is so, so, so nice. When all I need is for it to say something once to me, I just click ZoomText, click on the Speak It tool, and I can figure out what I was looking at in 2 seconds without having to turn on and off the whole narration setting and wait for the program to do all that stuff. Something I should also mention about ZoomText is it does take up a good amount of memory in your computer processing. It can make things a little bit slower than you'd like. I have definitely found that with the majority of screen readers and magnifiers. This is just life if you're using one. It will slow down your computer a bit, but if you have a more modern or newer computer, you shouldn't really notice it unless you need a high performance computer. For instance, if you're rendering a video or something, you're going to need that CPU, but otherwise it's not a big deal, but just thought I'd let you know because that is important. Alright guys, so all in all, that's really ZoomText Fusion 10.1 in a nutshell. It's nice, it's useful compared to other programs. I think it works really well, and I think it's a great idea how you have adapting from low vision to complete blindness, or how you have a mix of a screen reader and a magnification software. I love it. I think that it's very useful to a lot of people, and I hope that this video was helpful and helped to explain some of the main features in ZoomText. So thanks for watching, guys. I really hope it was useful, and as usual, if you want to know anything, please comment below and I will answer any questions I can. So until next time, guys, thanks so much, and I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm doing great, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.